Good morning, everyone. It's really incredible space here, I have to admit. Just arrived this morning, and it's beautiful. This is what was referred to as our computer kit. It's just to put this to bed. This is a computer kit that basically anyone can build and code themselves. It's simple, it's fun, like Lego, but it's a computer. And I'll basically share with you presumably there's a renaissance in hardware, and I'll try and connect that to our story as a company and what we've done in hardware and software and bringing a new product to market. So I'm just going to put this here. But before I start, I'd love to find one volunteer. Anyone volunteers, I promise it's not great. I need like a North Star for this talk. So I'd like to ask you and for you to tell everyone, what is your expectation from my talk? That is very easy. We'll get to that, and you may or may not find out that we'll discover what's inside the box. But just going to take that. And yeah, so and just to really, really briefly about myself, so everyone, we're on the same page of why on earth am I here. I'm originally from Israel, where I've been living for the majority of my life. I grew up in a very small place in the north of Israel called Lake Tiberias. Some refer to it as the Sea of Galilee. Trust me, it's no sea, it's a lake. I've served in the Israeli Defense Forces, doing some exciting stuff with international organizations. Then I went to study only to realize that actually I want to be an entrepreneur. And I started a venture with 3 partners when I was in university called FunKit. We developed these kind of stickers for sneakers that kids design on our website, and we would mass manufacture them. After a year of working on it, I realized 2 things. 1, I don't want to sell stickers. 2, I have no idea how to run a business, so I should learn how to run a business. And I basically joined one of the most successful Israeli companies, a company called Keter, which in Hebrew it means a crown. And I've worked with the president of the company for 3 years and basically learning a lot about industrial design, commercializing your product, mass manufacturing, and it was just an incredible school for me. So that's about it. I had all kinds of dreams when I was a kid, but that's irrelevant. And what I want to talk about next, once this incredible hardware device is working, which is not. Okay, so I don't know how many have heard Mark Anderson recently said that software is eating the world. Absolutely, it does. I mean, it's like a language. It's based on code, and we put it in every device. And now with the Internet of Things, it's going to come even to more devices. And I'm totally bought in to this vision that software eats the world. Having said that, hardware is the world. We're never going to be in a place where things are untangible. We're living in a cloud, and nothing is tangible. We're going to have phones. We're going to have other devices, maybe different things that we didn't even imagine. And it's always going to be here. It's going to be cars. They're going to get different kind of form factor and languages that operates them. And there may or may not be fuel in cars. It doesn't really matter. We're tangible humans who need to touch something to feel. And you can only see how babies interact with a piece of with anything when they're young, to see like the magic of when a new human interacts with a new form factor that they discover, and it shows you the magic of tangible assets as a world. And more than that, kind of more practically speaking, if you see what happens over the past decade and the change of production and how many things are being made every year. And I'm not going to go into the discussion of it's so incredible that China have become a manufacturing hub for the world, and and the rest are going down or going up. It doesn't really matter. What matters is we make more, we produce more, and there's more things in the world today than ever before. And that's not going to change. What is changing is we see a complete democratization of who is making hardware. And we're here in the land of mass manufacturing, automation, and it's just incredible. I mean, some of the most exciting innovations in manufacturing processes have came from Germany, with incredible manufacturing companies, and it's really exciting. I mean, I've been in BMW factories like years ago, and I'm sure now it's even more automated. So there's a whole kind of trend of advanced manufacturing. But in order to do that, only until like a few decades ago, you had to have a lot of capital, you had to have a lot of assets, you had to own a factory, right? The company I worked for, they still own numerous factories by themselves. Today, factories is more of a liability than an asset, because you have workers you need to manage, and who knows, God, like where the factories are and how many of them. And then you have all kinds of manufacturing hubs today in China, now it's Mexico, and all of Southeast Asia. And you suddenly can, you can sit in your house, use an an Autodesk software to design an object. You can then send it to a manufacturer in Shenzhen. You can build a brand in your house with a designer, and you can launch it on Kickstarter. That's the revolution that is happening. And even more than that, that is even more exciting. How many people here have heard about Kelvin, an 11-year-old? Now he's 18, right? So not a lot. So a quick story, Kelvin, now 18, at the age of 11, living in Freetown, one of the poorest, the capital of Sierra Leone, one of the poorest countries in the world, basically teaching himself to become an inventor by picking up electronics components from trash bins and building stuff on his own at the age of 11. And this is like, he built radio stations and battery packs, and then of course we turned him into a star, and he get a medal from the president of Sierra Leone, and MIT invites him to run a lecture. That's a party. But what I'm trying to say is it's happening all over the world, and not just entrepreneurs, but we have mini entrepreneurs now, like Kelvin, kids like Kane, who at the age of 9 have basically, this hardware is definitely not a high quality one. Kane, who at the age of 9 basically built his own arcade based on cardboard, right? And he started a business based on that at the age of 9. Entrepreneurship is all around us. It's not just graduating from a top university, deciding I'm so ridiculously smart, way more to go and be at McKinsey, so I'm going to start a business. Sorry if there are any McKinsey here. I appreciate the work you're doing. And, kids in Paraguay that are basically saying we send them trash and they send us back music. So, it's incredible. They built a whole orchestra from trash with instruments and teaching themselves to play. Fascinating. So why am I telling you all that? Because, just to recap, for now, I'm talking about accessibility rather than a renaissance, and that accessibility is on mass manufacturing's ability to work with companies like PCH building stuff without needing to own any factory, and then design and talent that is now exploding all over the world, especially in Europe, which is just fascinating to see. And Kickstarter, which I've mentioned, which, you can launch a project. It's not an easy job to launch a project and to finance it, but you can do it. And, you don't need to go to the bank and put your house on the mortgage. You can just go and try and get a community to believe in the product you want to build, and you'll get it financed. Yes or no? Well, you need to do a good job in order to get it done. So the biggest fear I had today was that the sound is not going to work. I'm happy to announce my fear has arrived, so it doesn't work. But basically, I'm giving you a shortcut to what's inside. So this is basically a video we've produced of our computer kit. As you can see, a girl, she takes it out, she puts it together like Lego, and basically within an hour, she puts her first computer for the first time in her life. It feels like Lego because it's a journey, and it's about storytelling of how to make your own computer and how to make it on your own. And then once it's assembled, plugged into a display, you start using code not to learn to code, but to create things, make art, play Minecraft with code, build games, shape the world around you, and then share it with the global community that we're encouraging on our web platform. So essentially, we're trying to build this new ecosystem of computing experience designed for and by young people all over the world, and not just young people, beginners as a whole. But in order to do that, that's probably one of the most important points is you need a team. And I've been lucky to have an incredible two founders with me starting this company to a team that have now grown to almost 40 people. And I could not stress enough, I think it's a separate talk about the team, so I'm not going to delve on that. And we're very excited about having a mission, which is also very important as a team. What's our North Star? Why are we doing this? Why are we waking up every morning like crazy, recruiting people, raising money, flying to China every second month, and making stuff that people hopefully would want to buy? And we're also lucky to be able to build on top of existing hardware platforms like the Raspberry Pi. And I think that's something that also happens, which is as the cost of the computing goes down, you see more and more of these hardware platforms coming into the market, like Raspberry Pi, and there are numerous of these hardware platforms. And we've basically chose to stick to the Raspberry Pi and build on top of that, which is an open source $35 Linux computer board. And on top of that, we've built our whole product. And of course, you need inspiration. And we got a challenge from a 6-year-old who is now 8, Mika, the son of one of my co-founders, who basically said, I'd like to build my own computer, but it needs to be simple and fun, like Lego. So he wanted to put these together by himself, but it needed to be simple and fun, like Lego. And that's what we've tried to do. And once we've decided what we wanted to do, we went out and tested it. Before we launched the Kickstarter, before anything else, we went and tested it with about 1,000 kids. And before even launching, we created an alpha version, which was ridiculously embarrassing, but we've offered it for $99 on a website. We've put the money on building 200 units, and something really, really fun happened. We actually sold a lot of them, probably most of them. And that gave us a lot of confidence that A, we know what we're doing, B, we think we know what we're going to do next, and C, there's something that excites a kid. And that kid, in our case, was a kid named Khalid, a 9-year-old, who, this is how the alpha version looked like. And we went to do a workshop with these 200 units. And Khalid, a 9-year-old, after a 90-minute workshop, basically stood up and said, adults treat us like we're incapable because we're young, but today we've made a computer, so we're like super children. Now, what am I going to tell him? Now we're not going to build this computer for you? So that was really, really exciting at the beginning. And kind of, coming up with what is the brand and what do we stand for. And I'm not going to dive too much. Kano is a Japanese name. It's the family name of Jigoro Kano, the inventor of judo. And for us, judo resembles to what we're trying to do, which is to take some sort of power, which is technology, and make it accessible for more people. And judo became accessible for an international audience and not just crazy Japanese monks. And that's why it's so successful up to the level of becoming an Olympic sport. And of course, we spent the time also designing a brand which, thankfully and together with our product became an award-winning brand and computer kit. We won the 3 most exciting design awards in the world, the Red Dot, the Cannes Lion for product design, and the German Design Award last year. So very exciting for us. But we had difficulties. We ran through the prototyping stage. We worked for a year until we launched the product on Kickstarter. We developed a whole operating system based on Linux that is designed for our audience, which is young people and beginners. And it was just an incredible industrial design process of getting into that crispiness and feeling of making sure that in every step of the way in the unboxing experience, it's going to be wow. The test was like, can kids say wow when they open the product? And we worked hard on that, and we were thrilled when the Twitter comments arrived when we shipped the product for the first time. And the reactions were like, my kid just built his first computer. It's amazing. We just got an Apple product and Kano, and I don't know what's more exciting. Hopefully, we know the answer was us. And Kickstarter is an incredible stage to bring your product to market. We've worked really hard on preparing for that, and we've launched something that we hope will be successful. We asked for $100,000 so we can make 1,000 units of that. We've made $100,000 in 18 hours, and we ended up with $1.5 million in 30 days from almost 14,000 people in 86 countries, which totally blew our mind and got a lot of press attention. And it was very, very exciting. But what's more exciting was actually to deliver on what we promised. And in order to deliver to these customers and footprint in 86 countries, we had to be very focused. So we've drawn this on a blackboard in the office, and that was the target of 2014. We needed to ship a product, as we promised. It needs to work. Basically, people need to open it, it needs to plug in, and it needs to work. And if we do these two, it's already a wow. Because it's extremely difficult to build new product, and it's extremely difficult to get new product that people are actually excited about. And we got amazing reactions from people like Walt Mossberg, which not just didn't kind of be negative, but he also gave us really, really positive feedback. And I don't know how many know, but he's a tough reviewer. And most excitingly, girls like Maya who were basically telling us, this means something to me. And I think that's what's exciting about building products, companies in general, and especially hardware. It's that emotional connection that you give something to someone and you see that it works and you see the impact immediately and you see it in front of your eyes. Some more reactions and kind of the type of creations. We now have over 6 million lines of code generated by our users on our social network, over 3,000 community projects created on top of our product. We've shipped nearly 50,000 units over the past 10 months to 86 countries, which was a massive effort. And very excited to also update you that 2 months ago we finalized our Series A financing. We've raised $15 million, led by one of the most incredible investors in the US named Jim Breyer, was behind the Series A of Facebook, among other investments, and some great people to really help us achieve our mission, because it's going to be a long journey and it's going to be difficult, but something that we are truly, truly excited about. So, just a couple of things before I open this for questions, if there is time, and I didn't take too much time. Show empathy. Get to a place where you get an email, regardless if it's an app or a product, from a father who says that he wants a new packaging for his kid because the kid loves the product so much, he takes it to school with him and he sleeps with it. What are you going to say to that, right? I mean, be committed. We have a mission. We want anyone, anywhere in the world to make and play with technology and shape the world around them. And we mean anyone, anywhere. And Kelvin, we're super proud to be supporting him and giving him Kano kits so we can run Kano Workshop in Freetown and get more kids who never have seen a computer before to make and play with their own computer. I mean, if you don't have fun, don't even start, don't even think about it. It's not easy to have fun, but it's probably one of the most important things. And we're all thrilled to be behind this mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a great talk. I think even I could build that computer, which is quite impressive. Okay, we've got time for one question. Here we go. Sorry, down here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, my view would be that entrepreneurship has to be social by default. If it's not, if it doesn't have a social element, then it's probably it's not going to have an impact. So if you start a business in today's world, I mean, it needs to make good for someone, right? Someone is going to pay for that. They need to feel good about it. It doesn't matter if it's a shirt, a computer, or whatever. So social needs to be embedded, in my view, in entrepreneurship anyway. More precisely on your question, yes. I mean, we're trying to work with multiple global organizations on bringing our computers to those who cannot afford themselves or don't have access to that, and it's definitely part of the activities we're pursuing as a company.
Great. Thanks very much, Yonatan.
Thank you.
And yeah, we're going to start the next talk in 2 minutes, so don't go anywhere.